Hey everyone, welcome back to this series of building AI agents from scratch. So in last couple of episode, we have built some agent end to end. But let's say you built some agent by some concept that we have learned, and then your agent went into production. Someday your agent got failed. Then real question comes in: was it because of the cost, context window, maybe the prompt failing, maybe LLM is down? How will you going to answer that question? So in production, this is a very generic, very realistic scenario. Like in some day, your agent will fail, or maybe your LLM call will fail, or in maybe one tool is failed. But the real question comes in: why this thing happened? You need to figure out why why this happened at a granular level. Like, is this because of by this some tool, or maybe timeout, or maybe my context, or maybe cost is spiking? If you are putting lot of print statement to find out what is the issue, like entering my LLM call, entering my done with my agentic call, done with my LLM call, then you are not going to find out what was the issue of this thing. You are reading long logs file, or maybe seeing the terminal, all the print statement you have put in the code. That will not help you to understand the root cause of your system. So this is a very small practice that you need to focus on while building system into production. By this adding this small functionality, your life will be very easy, and you will save a lot of time why something got wrong, to answer your stakeholder why this thing happened. So hey, welcome back. I am Nitin Kumar, and in this series we are learning agent from scratch, and now we are moving to the building a system that can go to production. So let's understand why logging is very important when building something into production. So let's first of all, we need to understand how typically when we write a system into our development phase, we mostly try to add the print statement like, okay, if API is failing, then something went wrong in API, or maybe timeout because of some rule based setting. But if print statement is not something that is very good for the production logging. So there is no structure, like you can't find out, okay, I want to get all the requests that got failed into that tool calling, or now you can't get a lot of context, or no matrices like what percentage of my user request getting failed. So you can't answer this sort of question. And literally there is no tracing, or something, if file got deleted, like, or something you are printing on terminal, everything is something is temporary memory. You are not going to retrieve everything when the system get restart, or maybe you are going to find out if something got misplaced. So now we need to figure out, very first thing now is what we need to log into our system when we are building something. So we are going to divide this thing into six parts. Very important part. First is we need to identify. Let's say you are building a system, and there can be a lot of users are using your system, and there are a lot of requests is coming up, and there is a session IDs, because one user can enter into different sessions, and then they are raising a lot of requests. So you need to track all these things. And then we have a lot of tools that we are running, models that we are using, like model, which model I'm using, what are the number of prompt token, what is the number of input token, what is the number of prompt like completion token, and then it comes with the cost. And then we need to find out where is the latency, where is my system is running slow. You need to find out all these things. And there is an outcome, like, is my something is running perfectly fine or fail. So these are, we are dividing these things into six buckets. And now we are going to deep dive why we need all six when something we are moving towards the production. So very first, let's understand this first part: request ID and session ID. So let's say I have one my user. So user log into a system, then we need to create a new session. And my in one session they can create different requests, like they are using different tools, or maybe different LLM calls. So there can be different requests. So we need to track at a granular level, like for this request, what was the session, and who raised this request. And one user can come again, and then that will be a different user. So we need to identify at each process at a granularity, and we can map it back who raised this process. So that's why we need this request ID and session ID. That's very important. Now let's move to the second part, is the tracking the tokens that we are using. And again, the latency. So token is like, I'm using some LLM, and LLMs come with a cost. Like there's a, and cost comes with the two set of type of cost. So one is my input token, one is my the completion token, and the price varies for both type of tokens. So if someone asks me, okay, Nitin, you are running this system for 1,000 requests, how much dollars you are spending on your system? How you are going to get it? So we need that system of logs to get just quickly run it through and find out, okay, this much dollar I have burnt in my last this 1,000 requests. So in this system, you are going to log your what is the prompt in your token, like what is the number of tokens in your prompt, what is the number of average completion token, or let's say for one request, what is the number of tokens that is LLM consuming for completion of your request, and you can calculate for total tokens, and there is a latency. Like if you are calling some LLM, what is the time it's taking? If you are calling some tool, what is the total overall time for the tool, or maybe for models, like you can find out. So it will help me to understand how much I'm spending and where my system is consuming a lot of time, where is my system is slow, or where my system is fast. So these matrices will help you to understand when you are going to build the system, like crunch the cost or maybe make the system faster. So you need to find out where and why this is happening. So that's why these logging are very important. Next part is when we are logging this thing, we try to log at a ground level, as I'm saying. So instead of logging at the LLM request or maybe one request, we will go and find out, let's say we have a 10 tool. So we will log each tool. Let's say my tool is web search, calculator, or maybe SQL query. So I will log each tool because each tool can take different latency and different sort of the error rate and failure rate. So I will add for which tool, how much time it's taking and how much time it's getting failed or how many times it's getting passed. So that's why we need the logging for it at tool level. Now it's come to it tracking the cost per request. So as I mentioned, we can have like prompt inputs and then price of input price, and we have the completion, we have the output. We can have different price. Typically, that comes if you go to with generic LLMs, like not the generic, but the API we use, OpenAI API rules, we have the different cost for completion and the input one. So you can buy this formula. They are fixed price. You can just calculate and find out. Okay, this is the cost I am going to pay to my the vendor which I am using API for this special request. Now, what it gives me at the end after adding too many logs. So now I have logs is I can get, okay, how many times my agent got successfully executed, how many times they are total failure, like maybe tool failure or maybe all request failure. What is the token limit I'm running, token limits, like my context window is smaller and I'm too many tokens. So I can find out where and when my system is running out of the context window. I can even add the guardrails level. If you are building something, you must be aware with the guardrails. But in the next couple of episodes, I will help you understand all the guardrails. But just understand there is a system, there is a layer we add into our AI agent just to provide more safety into our system. So we add this guardrail and we try to log this guardrail, which how many requests we are blocking or how many requests we are allowing. And there's a time out. Time out is very important when you are building this system on production. You don't want to keep your running system every time for a single request, and you don't want your user to wait all the time. You just need to sometime you say, okay, my system is failed. Now you have to retry. So now if you add these things, how would you find out? So let's say if I have some very generic agent that I have right now, and I have added lots of Python commands. So how I'm going to understand? Let's say this is my very basic the example I was taking. So this is a web search. I added like a calling a search for query or something went wrong. I just added very simple return. If something returning, I can even write, okay, my tool call is my this tool call is completely running. Same for the I can add for my like user asks this query. I can ask, okay, API is logging, and I can add this print statement. How this will come into when I run to the system into my the production environment. So it's like, okay, user asks what was the Q3 revenue, calling API, calling search, search done. And this is the things I was mentioning, the print statement. This will not give me, if someone asks me how many times your system got completed successfully, or maybe how many times got failed, or how many times maybe someone requested the web search tool. Very simple question. So you need to answer all these things when you have something is running in production, and that's why you need this important thing called logging. And after when you log all the six sort of categories that I mentioned in my slide, what you will have in the end of your system is sort of a very structured logging. Let's say how can we see this thing? If you log all the things that we are saying, like request ID, session ID, user ID, my model, my input token, all the things, and at the end, okay, my status is success or fail, then you will have very structured thing into your system. And now you can find out everything, literally each traces of your request, where it got failed, what it requested, when it's completed, how it's completed, how much time, how much dollar it costed, everything. That's why the logging is very, very important when you build something for production. But now we understand it will help me to debug any failure, find out the cost, find out where my agent is slow. Even we can build easy dashboard like Grafana dashboard or something to find out, okay, how is my usage is going on, or how much dollar I'm burning, or how many requests I'm getting, or for which business group I'm getting a lot of requests. And we can do a lot of regression out of it to find out why is my error is spiking or not. So these are the things. These small functionality unlock a lot of potential to save your life when you deploy the system. Now you must be wondering, okay, Nitin, you mentioned about a lot of things about logging and everything, but where we are going to log this thing and how we are going to log this thing. So in this episode, I just gave you very sort of a small taste of about why logging is important and what is logging. In the next episode, I will help you to understand how to add this logging and how to find out all these traces into a real agent. So let's see in the next episode how to add these steps into our regular codes to build something, a generic function that can log everything into my some file, or then we will move to some very more advanced technique or best practices that can help me better to build more robust system. So till that time, thanks for watching. And if you like the series, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. Happy learning.